fuckers?
Sup, fuckers?
Why do you have my phone?
Why do you have my phone? So, what I have here is, let me grab that. This is a whole letter thing I got this today. One of my favorite pen pals. She's so sweet. Then you have the envelope and everything. So I like to take it out, and when I'm done with certain things, I put it back in the envelope. Helps keep things organized. And this is my sticker envelope. It's just so cute. And so I have like these little stickers inside of it. And today we are doing a lemon theme. I will take some other time to find my lemon stickers. And then of course, well, stickers, tape. So I have double-sided tape, more double-sided tape. I'll get some one-sided tape. I have my stamps, big roll stamps. If you do not, I love this pencil. It's a pen. I love this pen because it's just so inky. Even though I'm left-handed, it gets all over my hand. And I have my scraps because I use this cupboard. Okay, I have all my different things we use. So, oops, this is my envelope. I'm going to put it together. This is the scraps from the envelope. I like using those for labels and things. And some question paper. One of the things I'm going to fold. My main letter writing paper. And this is going to be for some of my other things. And I like adding little like inspirational plant things in there because plants. This one says, don't forget, drink water, get sunlight. You're basically a houseplant with more complicated emotions. You see, isn't that wonderful? And I have some angel paper from a pen pal letter I finished last night. And slide that in there. And I have a drink. It's from Taco John's sparkling lemonade. So good. It's not sponsored, but it's so good. It's good to like drink something while you're doing this because you should drink things, right? So, the first thing you want to do when you're writing a letter, I'll probably make another video on how to actually write a letter and how to like actually put it together. But this is more like the aesthetic part of it, like how you actually just make it look nice. So the first thing you want to do is you want to establish a theme. So the reason why I'm doing a lemon theme is, let me see if I can find it. My pen pal did a really cute lemon pie recipe. I've never really been in person for lemon pie, but I'm gonna get some lemons and try this because this sounds really, really good. And I was just like, oh, I feel like a lemon. It's a lemon day. And so me and Mary is yellow. And so I was just looking at my Pinterest board. I have a Pinterest board of like all these different writing things I use. And I was just looking through it and I was like, well, last time I did strawberries and cherries. And maybe this time I should do something more summery, which is lemons. Well, it's a really good way to take inspiration from your previous letters. Sometimes I like to switch up the theme. That's fun. Okay, so when you're establishing a theme and you're looking for things to use like writing paper, aesthetic things to fold, Pinterest is your friend. And so is Google Drawings or Photoshop, really. Because there's a lot of really good free things that you can get on Pinterest. And if you feel like, oh, this is too tiny or this is too big, you can always resize it on Google Drawings. And you can also print multiple things together to save paper, basically. Like, I didn't want to... So I used a whole paper for this, and a whole paper for this, because I need these to be big things, right? But if it's things like these things, I print them together. Because I can just cut them out individually and save paper, because I like saving paper. When I do go thrift shopping, I prefer to buy really used paper. Sometimes I like buying like recycled stationery, but I prefer printing it out because I have a good printer. I can reuse the scraps. I like using scraps a lot. And it's just more cheap for me, but I know that once I start getting older, probably college, I'll get a little bit of extra special stationery that I can use for special things. So after you establish your theme, what you want to do is you want to start with the big letter first. I'm not sure if I should save this stuff for a different video, but what I usually do is, so this is my friend's, my pen pal's big letter. And she sends cards. I think it's really cute. I love her handwriting. So you have a card, right? That's the big letter. And for me, this would be my big letter, right? This would be the part where I respond to this. Because the easiest way for me to do it is it's back and forth, it's back and forth. So say if my friend says this thing, I'll add my inputs or my experience with this one. And I do it step by step. So I start with the big letter, and then I should have done this beforehand. And so we have the answers to the questions. And usually I like using this to write new questions, and I like using this to answer the questions. And sometimes you can answer the questions you wrote to your pen pal, that your pen pal answered. You can also answer those too. So it's not one-sided question, it's questions that both of you answer. And so that usually works better for me, where I do both. So say, big letter, answer the questions that you asked before. And then, after that, you answer the questions your pen pal asked with this paper. And then you use a tiny paper. I like using little tiny papers, they're so cute. Then you use a tiny little paper with the questions on the back. And sometimes you can add in a playlist. My music taste has been a little weird lately, so I'm probably iffy on a playlist. And really, it's about doing what you want. Because a letter, a pen pal, is someone you talk to through writing. And it does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be so pretty like this. It can just be notebook paper, and pen, maybe a gel pen, and cute little doodles. That's it. It does not have to be so over the top. If you don't know where to start, just write it on a piece of paper. Any old piece of paper. Because I just started getting into pen paling like a couple months ago, and I started with notebook paper. I used little tiny stickers and little ribbon things that we had around the house. But then I started looking at Pinterest, and I'm like, oh, well, I see these things, I see these things. And then we got a Cricut, so now I can make my own envelopes. Get over here. I can make my own envelopes. I can make my own little neat things, but I actually prefer to use the envelopes we already have. But once we run out of those, I'll start making my nice envelopes again. This is a special one because it's for the video. Alright, so you can see now that I've done a couple things. So at first, I folded my big envelope. It looks like this. It's pretty snazzy. I like it because I could just put tape on here, like double-sided tape, and you just peel it off. You don't have to cut through the top and try to open it. You just peel it. And it's pretty sturdy to me. It's sturdier than the envelopes I usually use. So I like using those, and I have a lot of things to put in it. I have to be careful because sometimes you can't have really thick envelopes. And that was the first thing I did, because that's usually the first thing I do. I make an envelope. Once I know my color, I make an envelope. I'll make a video on that someday. But then this is my first time trying something like this in the cute little, oops, cat fold-up thing. I think I'm going to use it for maybe put a tea bag in there. I think I have some peach tea somewhere. Just have to find it. Then I wrote a little message on the back of this. I like writing little messages on the back of like positive drawings and things. I just think it really helps improve morale. Then I started working on this, and I want to show you how I decorate, because I'll make another video on how I write it, but this is how I decorate it. So usually you can see how cursive and scrawly my handwriting is. I really have to think all my pen pals would deal with that and be like, hey, what was that? And I'm like, send a picture, and then I just like, oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, messy handwriting. So what I usually do is, so I have the color of the envelope, this big paper, so I have a lot of scraps left over, and then I cut it into little like pieces. And so for this one I decided just to not use this as a backing for the handwriting. I should do that for one of these, I'll show you. But I'll put a sticker in the corner. For these like smaller stickers that you're not going to be able to see from so far away, I'm probably going to use tape over them because trying to put double-sided tape on tiny things is hard. I also have some sunflower stickers just to throw a little something in there, something crazy. So I I took the sticker off, and this is what I usually do with this like leftovers, because I like using one kind of paper to unite it all like a theme, so it's like a stronger theme. And I like doing it for like little pieces of paper because so I get a big piece of scrap paper, and I'm like, well, what do I do with this? I'm like, for this is going to be my poem paper, because we like to exchange poems and things that we find interesting. Like, I could use that, depending on how big the poem is. And, you know, I could just use it for little things. Like, for example, I just started on this one. So, we have, what I usually do is I start with a tiny little piece of paper, with the name, dear name, and then hello, greetings, how you doing? And then I like, just because this is the reason, this is how I journal, this is how I write. I like to write the date first, and then I write the date, date and time, because I think if you look at the times when someone is pen paling, you can learn a lot about them. Like, if you look at the times I tend to pen pal, I tend to pen pal around, well, I write around dinner, late at night, early in the morning, and some of my pen pals are completely different. And yeah, so that's how I usually get started. Sometimes I like to layer in the corners, but I don't have a lot of lemon stickers. I have like tiny ones. I'm trying to like spread them out. So you can see that I've got my things written, and this is progress, right? I have this, I have to pick out a poem, write it down, and then I'll do packaging in a second. Get a little tea bag for this. I don't know if I'm going to use this for anything, if I'm going to use it for this or use it for something else. And so I have my new questions. The other paper. I can't grab anything because I trimmed my nails. This is their questions that they asked, answered. And this is the positivity thing. This is, oh dear. This is this is the letter. So we got that. So now I have everything written now. I have my little tea thing. I'm not sure if it's going to hold it, but we'll figure it out. And I have my poem. It's little tidbits of a poem that I did for my forensics competition. I didn't feel like trying to find a different poem I didn't know, so here we go. So this is how I usually do it. I start with this, with a big letter. And so I usually mark it. It's right there. And I try folding it nicely so it looks nice. And then I have this fancy thing, letter opener, creaser, whatever you want to call it. And so I crease it so it looks nicer, because I'm not very good at folding things. And then I just fold it in. Sometimes I like to seal it, but I don't have any fancy tape. I just have double-sided tape for everything. And so there you have just a letter. That goes in first. I always put that in first. And then I gotta put some tape on that. Then usually I do it in order of the things I write. So, for example, this was the second thing I did. So I usually put it, here's the little flat right here, and sometimes I just stick it in there if it fits. You see that's not going to fit. So it fits, and so that's the first thing you see when you open it. And then this is the questions. I made it so it would be long so I wouldn't have to fold it because it's double papered. And so I put that in the back. So you want to have a flat back to write on, and then you have it kind of bumpy in the front. And then new questions can just go right into the flap if they fit. And then I have to figure out how to fold this one. Alright, I'll fold it this way. And increase that. I like this paper because it's really cute. So you have an angel here. And you have 2 angels, 3 angels. And then just slip that in there in the front. And then, last but not least, I have my tea. I wanted to put it in like a plastic bag, but then again it's plastic. I don't really like plastic. But I'm going to give them lemon zest tea since I'm going with the lemon theme. Just thought it was fitting overall. I have any tape I can use. Let's see. I can use this. If I can open it. There we go. I'm going to cut it. I'll cut that again because I made a mess. I'm not very good at this. And so I just fold that over. And sometimes I like to write little things on it like, open me, take a peek, you know. I'm gonna write take a peek. Take a peek and it's perfect. And then I try to put that so it's like protected so that if it does get squished, it's not gonna get bad. Sometimes if my envelope is too lumpy, I'll take it out beforehand so that I'll take everything out so I can write my address, but this should be fine. And so there you go, I have my letter and I have my cute little stickers, and now you know how I pen pal and how I make it me. Really, thank you for watching. I really hope this video doesn't end up being too long or being too boring. I think if you guys like this kind of video, I might go into how do you actually write it, where can you find questions, where can you find resources, where you can find things. Hi. That was my mom. So yeah, leave a comment, check out my Instagram, I'll put things in the description, I guess. And take care.